20 creepiest occurrences in Reddit history, according to Reddit. Number 20. To be honest, coming back to Reddit after a few months of trying to get my head straight...
It seems a bit redundant. Creepiest occurrences on Reddit, according to Reddit.
You shut your fucking mouth, Stripes. Like, it's too early in the video for this sort of shit. We already have people who are in the comments talking about, I can't stand all of these interruptions. I just wanted to
Really? People don't like my insight? Well...
We'll be hearing about it in the video.
I guess it's time for me to lay down and wait for you.
Shut up. Coming back to Reddit after a few months trying to get my head straight, only to see a post after post of folks supporting Trump. What in the ever-living fuck happened? It's like Bizarro universe here. I keep expecting to run into my evil twin and shit. Somebody says, in my honest opinion, it was the absolute overflow of Bernie posts that pushed the pendulum just a bit too far to the left. When it swung hard. Really, if Reddit hadn't gone full Bernie, I don't think the Trumpsters would have such an anchor in the community. My personal opinion, of course, is that, people that perhaps didn't even know how a computer worked before now are now finding their way to Reddit and onto this Donald Trump subreddit, a haven for people that are, racists and bigots, Some people have been looking for a place like that for a long time. I'm sure a lot of the 4chaners and mouth breathers that just need a place to belong.
Speaking of mouth breathing.
Do what?
Speaking of mouth breathing, Kyle.
Were you trying to say that I'm a mouth breather because the heavy breathing was in the video when you know it was you? You know it was you. So why don't you just go subscribe to the fucking Donald Trump subreddit, right? Number 19, Colby 2012. Never forget. For those who are unaware of the story of Colby, it is a Reddit shit show involving a father who caught his son having sexual relations with the dog. The dog, unfortunately, had to put up with this kid fucking molesting it, and because the child was a piece of shit, he got the mother on his side, and the mother didn't believe the father, and the father lost his family and all kinds of shit. I have covered this before in a Reddit collection, so if you're curious about this, all you'd have to type in is CYAEL, Kyle, and Colby, and I've read it.
This was in the perspective of a father, I assume.
Yep, this is from the perspective of the father, and like I said, I've covered it before. We don't need to do this again. The dog is fine, so in case you guys wanted a happy ending. But I mean, I did this before, and boy was it an emotional read.
Was the kid ever punished?
I mean, he got a stern talking to, but I'm sure he's like shit staining his way through life right now. Number 18. Maybe not the creepiest in all of Reddit, but one of the few things I wonder about from time to time on here. I came across a post from an individual who somehow happened upon an Italian landmine at a construction site. His account didn't seem terribly active beforehand, but he's yet to say a thing since then. Yeah, I've seen this shit before. Long story short, guy stumbles onto a landmine. People are worried because he has not made a post since, holding it in his hand. Hey guys, it's a good landmine. Maybe he took it home. Who knows what happened,
So he just tossed it in his satchel and maybe tossed that satchel and it just blew up his home, is what you're implying?
Man, you can create whatever ridiculous.
Hey, look, a pigeon.
That's a foot. Ha 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 ha. OP, from the looks of your account, you haven't posted since you discovered what the others say is a landmine. For the love of God, please don't be dead. So that's number 18. And a Reddit account that goes dormant after having found a landmine. Number 17, a link that is clearly titled This Guy. Let's figure out what this is.
Oh.
Somebody says, what is the creepiest thing you've done?
So... this is another Reddit that's almost the same?
No, this is an Ask Reddit post
that
asks a question from 2 months ago that is essentially the same. What is the creepiest thing you've done? Please, God, don't let me have read this before. Let's get into it. I've done something like this. Basically, I am a man of voracious sexual appetite, combined with the fatal character flaw of falling in love with every woman who pays me the least bit attention. So one day, at work, a random girl came in and made delightful small talk with me in a way that really excited my Roosevelt, and naturally I decided that I would try to get her to love me. But once she left, I realized I'd probably be better off watching from afar before I try to make any move. Of course, I kept a copy of her receipt. I usually did that anyway with hot girls so I could look them up on Facebook and masturbate to their photos. It's a university town, so it's easy to narrow down students, and if I have their full name, it's cake. The best was when girls were buying underwear, or the ones who were clearly uncomfortable going to a male cashier with their lingerie and were awkward and all that with me, but I just put on a smile and pretend it's fine. And thanks to my photographic memory, I could go home and masturbate, relishing in the thought that I knew exactly what they would be wearing. Anyway, back to the story at hand. My Aphrodite was obviously a student at the university, so I found her on Facebook, and quickly realized that her profile was wide open, meaning I could see all of her statuses and photos, every update. It's not stalking because it's public information. Anyway, and whatnot. So I had a receipt. I found her on Facebook, and it began quite innocently. Like I was just masturbating to her swimsuit photos 3 or 4 times a day, but then I realized that ITA, teacher's assistant, in the building right next to where her major classes were. So I began to pay attention to her status updates, hoping to catch when she'd be in the building. Not for any nefarious purpose, I just wanted to see if I could maybe track her down like a wild sow or something and pretend like I was Nigel Thornberry. That's a character in a show called The Wild Thornberrys. He had a big nose. You probably know him from memes. You know, the big nose, smashing. Okay. Continuing. Well, as I said before, I'm a man of diverse sexual tastes, and after the first few times I saw her wandering across the causeways between our buildings and my subsequent masturbating in janitorial closets, I decided to step it up a notch. By that point, I already had memorized her class schedule, at least in the building next to mine, so I knew where she was at most given moments. This is where I thought to maybe do something like OP here did, like pretend like I'm in her classes and that we're compatible and whatnot. But then I realized I'm not the best looking guy, and she might remember me from the store, and I should probably just stick to my normal technique of hiding in the women's restroom and masturbating to the sounds they made on the toilet, something I've done since early teenagehood and something I've mastered. So I posted up like a military sentinel on a bench in her AC building where I knew she had class. The first few classes were futile. Would my darling ever piss? Was she a camel? Alas, it took a few tries, but on the 3rd or 4th day of waiting, I caught her slip out of class towards the women's restroom. I buried my head in a book and let her pass. Then as soon as she went into the bathroom, I hobbled over at full mast, glanced around like a perverted priest in an orphanage, and slipped furtively into the bathroom. I perched on a toilet like a crow to hide my hairy ankles and Crocs. So no lady, yeah, this story for You had me until Crocs, man. This is fucking fiction. So no lady would see me in their domain. Almost immediately, the concerto of her bowel movement graced my ears. Toccata and fugue in shit minor, an artful evacuation of the rectum, sensual yet gripping. It sounded like she was making fart noises with her mouth, but I could detect the verisimilitude. It was sublime. I conducted my typical stealthy masturbatory symphony, relishing in the stench reeking into my stall from hers. It was 8 or 9 minutes that felt like an eternity, and I still can't hide in women's restrooms without wistfully remembering that great day. And as quickly as it began, it was over, and she flushed and washed and was gone. I try not to get hung up on women too badly, so I told myself she'd be out of my life forever. Barely holding back tears, I took one nostalgic glance into her stall just to solidify the memory forever, when I realized that upon the toilet seat was a spiky, black pubic hair. Naturally, I snatched the pube like Smeagol and his precious, and to this day it occupies a special spot in my wallet, going around with me everywhere I go as a romantic reminder of what true love feels like. That love is everywhere, all around us, and inside all of us. And sometimes, all that it takes to realize said love is an ungodly bowel movement and a lonely, forgotten pubic hair.
He really took this writing prompt and ran with it, didn't he?
Look, motherfucker. I was only like 17. I thought this was going to be a quick list. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's what you get for taking a glance at things.
That's what I get for taking a glance at things. Awesome. Number 16. That one guy who befriended a girl, convinced her that her boyfriend was cheating, drove the boyfriend out of her life, and was there to comfort her through it all, only to end up marrying her. That's a story that, like, most people have to deal with. Why do you think a lot of people are so defensive and, like, you know, what's the word? Territorial? Is because people are manipulative and terrible. And, like, usually it's the women who are trying to do some shit like that to convince the guy that, you know, the girl is running around or something like that. But when a guy does it, like, holy crap. I kind of want a source on that one. I'm kind of refusing to accept that it's a real thing. Get the fuck out of here. It was a sniggle post and an uber long confession post, but it wasn't quite an... What the fuck?
There's a confession Reddit?
Manipulative. That's the word of the day. Manipulative. Closer as big ass titties. Manipulative. Have you ever heard that word? Manipulative. Okay, look, we don't have time for this. Number 15, the Ask a Rapist thread. Guys, if you didn't know, Reddit had a thread that's very popular called the Ask a Rapist thread. And I read this thread, but packaged it in 10 rape stories from Reddit. What this is are 10 of the top comments from the Ask a Rapist thread that was on Reddit. That's right, somebody made an Ask a Rapist thread where people fucking poured in and were like, well, here's some experiences that I fucking... So you know what I mean? If you wanna hear about Colby, type in Kyle and then Colby. If you wanna hear about, you know, the Ask a Rapist shit, type in Kyle and rape. Type in Kyle and rape. What a world. What a day. What an internet fucking... Man, I have ruined myself. Number fucking 14 maybe. The story about a guy here... A story about guy hear a strange whistle noise. Story about guy hear a strange whistle noise from the lake since he was a kid. He even recorded it and put it on YouTube. Watched the video and got goosebumps. Quite unsettling and strange. So where the fuck the video at, homie? God, I totally forgot about this. The whistling out on the lake, wasn't it? So where the fucking...
Didn't we see this in like a paranormal Reddit thread once?
No, I don't remember anything about a whistling on a lake. Like,
no, I feel like I watched that video with you when we were looking at this paranormal thread.
That was this other bullshit where they were talking about like some kind of sounds in the clouds or something.
No,
that's
not what I'm thinking of.
It was different. Whistling on a lake.
They were in a boat. It looked like it was 4th of July.
I ain't reading all this shit. Anyway, the guy says he uploaded a video.
Yeah, this is it.
I've never seen this.
I saw this with you.
Certainly not with you.
Yeah, there's fireworks going off. Or something blew up in the sky. Oh, it's thunder.
You whistling? Is that you?
Look, man. You know, we want to dismiss it. We want to be like, oh, some guy is just out of frame whistling to lend to the creepiness of this horse shit. Or maybe, you know, I'm sure there's like there's maybe like a thing out there that the wind is hitting in a way that can cause that whistling noise. Either way, we want to just describe it away. But if it's true, that's kind of sad and creepy. I'd hate to live in proximity to some shit like this that I couldn't explain and have to deal with my entire life. So number 12. people stalking people on here. I don't mean following someone's posts. I mean finding out people's lives and shit. It happens all the time. That's essentially all this is. Somebody says, I usually delete my accounts after a year. And then this is actually from a deleted person. This was only 15 days ago, too. Hilarious. But anyway, look, because a lot of women on here are like posting their bodies and going, you like these big titties, big boy? Yeah, a lot of people are going to be all like, man, I got to find out this girl's Facebook, see where she lives, see if I can get into that bathroom stall and just jerk it to that poopy doopy, lemon scoopy, puby on the toilet seaty, meaty weety, in my wallet skeet skeety. Maybe I can clone her in the future woocher. The future woocher. Is that what I... What?
Jelly belly.
G-lie, B-lie, Goomai, Petrat, Candai. I'm not able to find the link as I'm not savvy enough. Savvy meaning you can't search, nigga. But there was this guy who has a legit Reddit account who was a major stalker on Reddit. Flash forward in time to another subreddit post, I think also about creepy things that happened on Reddit, and he comments on that post to defend himself. The stalker is somebody named Daryl Pratt. Somebody saying, Jesus fucking Christ, this scared the shit out of me. Same thing happened to my girlfriend about 2 years ago. It really sucks because she was scared for her life and you can tell it was really fucking with her. Yo, we gotta get down on this post and see what scared the crap out of some motherfucker. Let's figure it out. Which 4chan or Reddit thread is the creepiest? Man, this is only from like a month ago. We should read that. Somebody says a super creepy stalker refusing to understand that he needs help. Okay.
Shouldn't you bookmark this for later?
I mean, you know, we might as well get into it now. If someone banned me on Facebook and I make another account and pretend to be someone else, can I get in trouble? This is obviously the stalker. I followed this girl on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for over a year. She's a minor celebrity, and I liked and commented on everything she posted for over a year. And I only said nice things. She replied to me a lot. Then, for no reason, she banned me from all of them. I never met her and probably never will, but her posts and replies were the best part of my day. I made another account begging her to unban me, but she banned that one too with no response. She is literally the best thing in my life. So I was just going to make another account with a fake name to follow her, but I compliment her in every post, so I think she will suspect it's me. So if I only say nice things and compliment her, it can't be harassment or stalking or anything, could it? I live in Kentucky and she lives in California, so it's not like I'll ever meet her. Somebody says, Mods, you need to take a look at this guy. Going through his post history, he has made multiple posts in both legal advice and relationships asking for help to continue to stalk this girl. He knows where she works and whatnot. Mods, you should push this up to the Reddit admins so they can try to get in contact with IGN and inform them of the situation so they can take steps to protect her. Mods, you need to look into this guy. This has been escalated already. Thanks for your concern. I did forward the initial to, oh man, this is like nuts. This is nuts. What is IGN? Internet Gaming News, I think. This is amazing. This is amazing. So anyway, yeah, people are just like, holy crap. Holy crap.
Wait a minute, have you seen that 4chan post?
What 4chan post?
The little face that's up there. That's
No.
a reference to a 4chan post.
Okay. I think this is it here. But do you see how long it is, Stripes? Okay. Like, what are we trying to do with our lives?
No. The one I'm thinking of is about, like, a Japanese man and a Japanese girl, like...
I'm pretty sure this is it, and it goes on for 3 weeks. Yeah, so maybe we'll make another video out of that. Fuck me. Who knew this would just turn into things that were too long to even dive into? My God. Anyway, that was the stalker guy. Let's move on to what may possibly be number 10 or something. The guy who didn't ask me anything because he was smashing his mom when he was younger. What makes it really creepy was that the dad was accepting it. This is Broken Arms.
Yeah.
We just did this. As much as Reddit jokes about it, it really is fucked up. The creepiest part is how the guy talks about it so clinically, with almost no emotion. He's probably repressed and purged every feeling about it, instead of acknowledging that his mother molested him and dealing with that. Look, man, he was at such a young age that, if he was just convinced at the time that it wasn't a bad thing, then it's probably over, nigga. Like, everybody wants to have feelings about it because, yes, it is wrong. Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's not normal. Yeah, it's outrageous. But think of it like this. A little kid falls and everybody around him goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Baby starts crying. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Little kid falls, everybody looks at him and goes, "Get up, what's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? Kid gets up and the kid's fine. He's too young, unless something is really hurting him to understand that, you're not supposed to have that kind of feeling towards the monkey balls. And look, man, people that are grown as fuck that don't know how to act human properly. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? So maybe this kid is just another one of them where he doesn't know how to act or how things may or probably should be hitting him. We need to hop off Broken Arms Guy. Leave Broken Arms Guy alone. How about the story on Our Relationships a few months ago about the boyfriend who purposefully burnt his girlfriend's dead sister's possessions because he could only be attracted to her when she was depressed? Sorry, I did a double take just now. I'm trying to make sense of that. There's a story on Our Relationships a few months ago about a boyfriend who purposefully burnt his girlfriend's dead sister's possessions because he could only be attracted to her when she was depressed. I don't understand.
What would you call that as some kind of sexual kink? What would that even line up with? I guess, what are they called again when they take pleasure in other people's pain?
Masochist?
I guess so.
Yeah, they were candles that her sisters had made. But you're right. The update to that was so absolutely weird and creepy. He was turned on by her grieving. They were candles that her sister had made. He was turned on by her grieving. That's pretty fucked up. Somebody said different wicks for different dicks. Wow. Look, man, let's just keep going. This is actually starting to get under my skin. A little bit. Maybe I was more confused. See, I don't even know how to interpret my own feelings. Number 9, a Reddit user I didn't know private messaged me my address and a picture of my house. It was an image off a realtor website after an argument over an anime. Damn. Then if it's over something like that, you're dealing with somebody who is a fucking psychopath and you should be scared.
So
you know what
passionate.
I mean? I'm coming to your house with my samurai swords. I made a new Reddit account after that.
Did you find that one too?
Somebody said, I love how you can just laugh about that. There goes my false sense of security, you know what I mean? Number 8, late to the party, and not sure if someone has already commented this, but this girl who didn't ask me anything about breastfeeding, even though she was in her teens, only for Redditors to find out that it wasn't breastfeeding, but rather her mom just getting her to suck on her nipples every night before bed. Oh my God.
Didn't we read something like...
No. Oh my God. I am a female who breastfed until 15. I'm in my 20s now, ask me anything. Somebody said, this is sexual abuse. I work with students in school system, and if there was even a question of this, I would report it to the authorities. It is abnormal in every sense, biologically, socially, culturally, etc. There is literally zero reason for or rationale to breastfeed, especially biologically or psychologically, past the toddler age. I would strongly encourage you to seek professional help because it has likely affected you more than you are admitting, especially with these stories you mentioned of crossing boundaries. Where the stories at? Whoa.
Kyle.
Did you actually get milk? Somebody said no. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to see if it crossed some boundaries into like... It's got the one of Jerry just getting up and getting out. Somebody says, so you didn't actually receive milk from her, you just sucked on her nipples? And she's like, yep. Her account is Mommy's Little Girl.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
How long did one session take? How many times a week did the sucking occur? How did she initiate it? Was it verbal? Come to my lap, honey. It's time for breastfeeding. Usually about 30 minutes. So let me just bookmark this shit right fucking now. Because it's going to be the new Reddit collection. It's going to be the new Broken Arms.
Yeah.
Right? Let me fucking get the hell out of here. Let me get the hell out of here. Oh my god. A woman was using a sleep recording app and managed to record a break-in. 2 guys going through her possessions while she was asleep in bed with her baby. I listened to the recording. Oh my god. Oh my god. The original recording. Are you ready?
Why is it slowed down?
It's not. Oh my god. Somebody broke in and y'all got the recording. That's creeper deep weeps. A guy posted on Reddit thinking someone was near his house after a friend pointed out a figure in the background of a Snapchat video. Redditors enhanced the video, slowed it down, etc., and came to the conclusion that someone was indeed in the house. In one of the enhanced videos, OP walks right past the creep who is standing in the corner. Part 1 and Part 2. Let's take a look. Oh, it's some no sleep bullshit. You gotta take all this horse shit with a grain of salt, dudes. You know what I mean? I can't say I believe all of this horse shit. But yeah, no. Snapchat video. Got people in windows, blurry people, whatever. I got too many damn tabs open at this point. You people know what you're doing to me here. That time someone recounted this true story about stumbling upon dead Ted Bundy in the middle of one of his murders. Yo, I already read that for one of my creepy true stories, which I'm sure you guys have probably. Man, Stripes is just laughing at me at this point. This whole list is turning into shit that I've done before. The Post-it note carbon monoxide leak story, which I've done as well. There was a story about a guy who was like mad because he thought his like landlord was leaving Post-it notes all over his apartment, and it turned out it was actually him leaving notes for himself, like it was a fucking movie, and that there was a carbon monoxide leak, so he was losing his memory and all kind of bullshit like this. Here's another one. The one post where these 2 guys were on a hike and they later noticed that there was an injured girl in the background of their picture. What the actual fuck? I don't know this one. Let's take a look.
Picture?
There's an article. I'm trying to get these. The images won't like load. Okay, here they go. Oh no, these are. I guess they got her rescued. Where's the original photo? Oh. Oh my god. That's creepy. They're taking pictures of them hiking. And there's a girl in the image.
Yeah.
Injured. Wow. Dude, the pictures where she's in the background without you guys knowing are creepy as fuck. There's another one. Oh my god. Oh my god. And he posted it, and then people were like, hey, somebody else in that picture, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. The one where some guy was playing a game upstairs with noise-canceling headphones on, then took them off and heard someone threatening his wife. Turns out the guy was raping his wife downstairs while his daughter was sat crying on the floor while he was upstairs playing video games.
And how is that resolved?
Holy fuck, that's a fear of mine.
But like, so how was the confrontations? Was it over by the time he came downstairs, or?
We don't know what the hell happened, apparently. They haven't licked me to the monkey balls. Somebody says, I think that was a Bose commercial. Which is a kind of headphone, in case you don't know. Here's a response. Holy fuck, that's a fear of mine. Something bad happened to someone nearby while you're oblivious and worse, enjoying yourself. Putting yourself in their shoes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Creepy stuff. So here's the number one good thing. I'm going to go with something a little more obscure. Over on board games, we had a very generous user by the name of Dam Bedani. She owns a game store and would often send free board games to strangers on the subreddit. How sweet of her. A little bit of backstory for her. Shortly after her giveaway, people noticed that she suddenly deleted her account without warning. Some of us were getting a bit concerned, and we were eventually given an explanation via the mods. 2 days after I posted my last giveaway, someone came into my store and said he was a fan of mine and had traveled to meet me. He had never contacted me on Reddit, and I never received any threats from him prior. But he got aggressive. He knew where I lived. The works. He's in custody now. But unfortunately, the few games that I got out, around 12, I had to cease my giveaway. And unfortunately can't do any more. I was hoping that you could help me out in some way to let everybody know kind of what happened and why I had to stop. I don't want them thinking that I just disappeared and ran off. The poor girl. Fuck Reddit.
She tried to do something nice and it just...
Yeah, somebody's saying although the creepiness didn't happen on Reddit, it happened as a result of Reddit, basically.
So I'm assuming that he was one of the people that got a package from her and just traced the package back to her? Do you think?
I mean, it's the internet. There's more than one ways to find out, you know, the ins and outs of what a person does by information that they betray, often willingly. And this is why people get mad at Facebook all the time, is because Facebook doesn't give a fuck about you and your privacy. Facebook exists as a means for the government to keep track of you, and for the highest bidder to keep track of you. If you and I had enough money, we wouldn't even need to pay a person to hack to get information about people. We could just pay for the information because it's readily available. Some of these that we opened are pretty badass. What's the creepiest thing you've ever done? I thought that I read some of this shit. You know what I mean? I thought that I read some of this shit. So let's give them a bonus one from this one.
I think you should do another video tomorrow of some of these.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's end this. You know, this was a weird one, but I guess I should include something crazy about myself so that people don't feel like they got gypped on this video. You know, what should I tell them, Stripes? That you're a fucking ladybug or some shit like this?
I think they already know.
I think they already know. We need to fix these damn hitboxes in this punk ass Overwatch game, because I ain't trying to play cheater watch. You understand me? Oh yeah, we should stream when this updates. So if you guys are watching this and somehow made it to the end, hopefully we're still streaming. Talk to you soon.